Picture this. You're sitting on your sofa, your eyes are just glued to the screen, and the clock is ticking down those final agonizing minutes. And then, the final whistle blows. The scoreboard seals your fate. Your team just lost a crucial match. Immediately, you feel it, right? This heavy, hollow ache blooming right in the center of your chest. Now, you didn't play in the game. You weren't out on the pitch taking actual physical hits. Yet this physical ache you're feeling is unmistakable. It feels like way more than just disappointment. It feels incredibly, undeniably real, settling deep into your bones and probably making you question why you even subject yourself to this experience at all in the first place.
But the pain you feel right now is not disappointment. It is neurologically identical to physical injury. Anyone who pats you on the shoulder and tells you, hey, it's just a game, fundamentally misunderstands human biology. What your brain and your body are experiencing in that devastating moment right after a loss is absolutely, measurably real. You aren't just imagining this ache, you're not being dramatic. You are actually living through a profound, measurable chemical response that is firing on literally all cylinders inside you, completely altering your physiological state of being.
Okay, let's dive into this. To really understand why your team's failure leaves you feeling like you've been literally punched in the gut, we need to take a little journey. We're going to travel from your macro-level emotional state right down into the micro-level circuitry of your brain. What exactly is happening in your nervous system when that clock runs out? How do a few changing numbers on a screen, maybe happening across the country or even across the world, manage to reach right inside your body and pull the fire alarm on your central nervous system?
Section 1. Your Brain on Loss, the Neuroscience of Social Pain.
So to answer what happens in your nervous system, we have to look at a landmark 2003 fMRI study by neuroscientist Naomi Eisenberger over at UCLA. This research was a real game changer. It fundamentally shifted how academia and science understand emotional devastation. See, when she scanned the brains of people experiencing social pain, things like rejection, exclusion, or, yes, the agonizing loss of a favorite team, she found something absolutely incredible. Social pain activates the exact same brain regions as a physical injury. Specifically, we're talking about the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex and the anterior insula. These are the literal physical structures in your brain that light up like a Christmas tree to process physical agony. When you accidentally touch a hot stove, these regions light up. When your team loses a match you deeply care about, they fire in the exact same way. Your brain literally does not distinguish between a broken bone and a devastating defeat. It is not a metaphor, it is measurable, hardwired biology.
Section 2. The Chemical Storm. Hormones in the fan body. While your brain is busy processing the loss, your body definitely isn't just sitting still. It is undergoing a chaotic hormonal transformation. Let's look at the numbers. During a high-stakes game, cortisol, which, as you might know, is your body's primary stress hormone, spikes by an average of 48% in male fans. 48%. This isn't just a brief flutter of nerves or a mild sense of anticipation. This massive surge keeps your body in a state of extremely high physiological alert, essentially reacting to a sustained physical threat for up to 2 full hours after the whistle blows. Your biological fight-or-flight mechanism has basically been hijacked by the scoreboard, flooding your system with the exact chemicals meant to help you outrun a predator in the wild.
But incredibly, it doesn't stop with just stress. Following a devastating loss, testosterone levels plunge by an average of 20%. Now conversely, if your team wins, it actually goes up by that same amount. This hormonal shift is incredibly significant because we're not just talking about a temporary bad mood here. A drop this severe drastically alters your confidence, your social behavior, and even your willingness to take risks. And this depressive, lethargic effect can last for up to 24 hours. Your body is basically responding to the scoreboard as if your own personal survival and social status just took a massive real-world hit.
Section 3. Identity Threat. When they becomes you.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it explains why a team's failure feels so intensely personal to us. A 2019 study published in the journal Social Cognitive and Affective Neuroscience found this massive neural overlap between representations of the self and the team in our brains. Neurologically speaking, they literally becomes you. Psychologist Edward Hurt at Indiana University researched this merge deeply, and he classifies how we handle this into 2 specific behaviors. When your team wins, you engage in something called BIRGing, basking in reflected glory. You wear the jersey to work, you proudly say things like, "We won," and your own personal self-confidence goes up. But when they lose, casual fans tend to engage in CORFing, cutting off reflected failure. They distance themselves, they say they lost, they criticize the manager, completely protecting their own self-esteem from the plunge we just talked about. But here's the catch. Deeply loyal, highly identified fans resist CORFing. You absorb the hit. Your self-esteem drops exactly as if you had failed a personal task yourself. You stay attached even through the pain of the loss. Section 4. Empathy and mirror neurons. Feeling every touch.
To really grasp why you physically flinch when your striker misses a wide-open goal, we have to zoom all the way down to the cellular level. It all comes down to mirror neurons. These were discovered by neuroscientist Giacomo Rizzolatti at the University of Parma. These are highly specialized brain cells that fire not just when you perform an action yourself, but when you simply watch someone else performing it. So, as a player approaches a penalty kick, your own motor cortex literally activates. When they strike the ball, your brain simulates that kick. And when that ball tragically clangs off the goalpost, your anterior cingulate fires the exact same pain signal as if you had just missed the penalty yourself. You are running a partial biological simulation of the game in your own body. You aren't just passively watching from the sofa, you are genuinely biologically experiencing it.
Section 5. The real-world stakes. The compound pain of fandom.
So, when we combine the social pain circuitry, those immense hormone spikes, that deep identity merge we discussed, and the active mirror neurons, how severe does this actually get on a population level? Well, data published in the New England Journal of Medicine tracked hospital admissions in cities directly following a major championship loss by their local team. The data shows a pretty shocking 25 to 30% spike in hospital admissions for cardiac events in those specific cities. The emotional plunge, the massive surge in cortisol, and the immense physiological stress genuinely compound into serious, measurable physical trauma for a significant portion of the population. The stakes of this biological response are, quite literally, incredibly high.
What makes this pain so uniquely heavy is that it's a compound emotion. There isn't just one single source. When your team loses, you are simultaneously experiencing the neurological pain of social exclusion, a direct and severe threat to your overlapping personal identity, and the heavy dread of anticipated future pain. Sitting there wondering if they're just going to break your heart all over again next week. It's a massive, multi-layered burden your nervous system is forced to carry all at once. And carrying all of those overlapping psychological weights simultaneously takes a profound, draining toll on your physical energy.
Section 6. The need to belong. Why we keep coming back.
So you have to ask yourself, if a loss damages our self-esteem, spikes our stress hormones, triggers the physical pain centers of our brain, and literally puts our hearts at risk, why do we keep coming back? Why on earth do we endure season after agonizing season? Well, to answer this, we have to look back to our evolutionary history. For early humans, belonging to a group wasn't just a fun weekend hobby. It literally meant survival. Exclusion from the tribe meant certain death. Today, supporting a team with thousands of others activates that exact same ancient survival-based circuitry of tribal belonging. Unconditional loyalty, even when it physically hurts, satisfies a profound psychological function. By refusing to distance yourself after a loss, by resisting that urge to corf, you are confirming your place in the group. The pain you feel, it is simply the undeniable proof that your belonging is real. So the next time you're sitting on your sofa, absolutely devastated by the final whistle, with that familiar, heavy ache blooming in your chest, remember this explainer. Your brain treats the loss as an injury because your deepest neural wiring actually believes your tribe just suffered a major blow. But that very same pain connects you to millions of others through a shared color, a shared story, and a shared heartbeat. We hurt because we belong, and perhaps that heartbreak is a price we gladly, willingly pay to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that we are never truly alone.